San Diego are a 2-win team. We're a 1-win team, but I don't think either team should be underestimated at the moment. San Diego got some great players. They're a big game sort of side. They've probably also felt they've come on the wrong side of a few results, and they'll be coming up to Seattle with the bit between their teeth, because it's an old rivalry. In this young league, it's a fairly old rivalry. They'll want to beat us badly.
Welcome back to MLR Mic Check. I'm Dani Wexelman, and this week we've got Seattle's Ross, Neal. Ross, welcome to it. How are you?
Not bad. Thank you for having me. Not the best time. Tough loss yesterday, but pleasure to be on.
All right, Ross, I got to know, because it had been 421 days since Seattle's last home match. Now you get to play at home. You have fans in the stand. It's not the outcome that your team wanted, but what was the experience like for you guys?
Yeah, it's been a long time. And I think I'm still yet to play in front of a packed out Starfire MLR game. I've been told it's unbelievable, but our fans are pretty good. They're still, I think we only were allowed 20%, so I think that's about 500. But they're so loud, so passionate, and screaming the whole time. So it was great to be back. I thought we were just about to snag the win as well, but which would have been lovely to come home and win it straight away. But it doesn't always happen like that. So hopefully next week we can give them a win.
I wanted to learn a little bit more about you and the decision to transition from the English Premiership, playing for the Wasps, to coming over to the United States, playing for Major League Rugby, playing for the Seattle Seawolves. What went into that decision? How did that all go down?
I was at Wasps for a year and a half. The first year sort of turned out there were a load of international players, really great players that were there. And I wasn't really expecting to play much. And a few injuries happened. The guy Christian Wade left to join the NFL, and a spot opened up on the wing. I got a chance. It went really well, and got a few Premiership games, European Champions Cup games, and it was going quite well. And then that next year, I maybe had one chance, didn't play very well in that game, and then for the rest of the year didn't really play. So halfway through the year, I spoke to my agent and just said, "Look, I'd love to go and give this MLR a go and go and live in America. Can you see what's on?" And 2 days later, he came back and said, "Yes, Seattle have got a spot available if you fancy it." So I had to decide that week, and thought, why not? And then I was out a month later. And it's just, I think from the very start of the MLR coming about, it was something I always had a little bit of an eye on. Just exciting place. If it can take off over here to be part of that, would be pretty awesome. So yeah, that was how it happened.
What's your reaction when you hear that Seattle is interested, and it's basically no time waiting to find out whether or not somebody is interested in you? That must make you feel pretty good, right?
Yeah, well, I genuinely knew very little about the MLR. Like, I knew it'd be exciting time, exciting place, but I didn't know any of the teams, didn't know who was out here or anything. It was very much, I text my agent on the Monday. He came back with a contract on the Wednesday, and I had to sign it by the Friday. So, and within that Wednesday to Friday, I had to speak to my director of rugby at Wasps, Di Young, who he's quite an intimidating bloke as well. And I was having to ask to leave, basically. But when my agent came back and said, "Yeah, Seattle really want you," I was like, perfect. And it was all, it's quite American as well. The text that came back, it was like, "I don't know if Ross knows this, but he's fallen on his feet, landing with us. We're one of the top franchises and all this." And I was like, great, let's get involved. But yes, I really didn't know what I was coming into, but it all seemed quite exciting.
So everything happened really quickly for you. And I know that you had said this move to Seattle gives you an opportunity to hopefully play some regular rugby at a good level and fall back in love with the sport. So I was wondering if you could expand a little bit on that thought, and also let me know if you've fallen back in love with rugby.
For sure. I think when you're playing over in England or Ireland or any of those sort of places, it's unbelievably competitive. You may only get one or two shots, and if you don't take them and keep them, you spend a lot of your time training and holding a tackle pad for other people and being in the gym. It's just not what you wanted to do when you were, 15, 16, 17, when you're dreaming about doing it, when you're a young kid, and then you get there and it's not quite what you wanted, and you probably lose that love that you once had. And then, coming back out here, I'm playing regularly, you get a bit more of a voice in the team. The culture's great, the places are great, and 100% falling back in love with it, which is awesome. And the league, it was a bit of an unknown when I came over what the standard would be. I had no idea, but every year, apparently, from what I understand, it has just got better and better. And now you see, any team could be any team. There are some seriously good players knocking around, and it seems to be a league that's just constantly going up. So to be a part of that is pretty cool.
And you have earned the title of vice captain. What does an honor like that mean to you?
Yeah, it was quite a surprise. I haven't been here that long, but we had a few senior players from the kind of the back line who have slightly starting to transition out. So Matt Turner moving to that coach role, Shalom Saniula doing other bits outside of rugby as well, and the rest of the backs, a fairly young group. And for me, it was a massive honor. I wasn't really expecting it, and I haven't really done it since I was back at my under-18 school team being a captain. So, and I did enjoy it when I did it there. And so to help Rickett out as vice captain and sort of leader of the back line, so to speak, is it's a massive honor, and it's been really fun group of guys to work with as well. There's plenty of leaders in the team, so just whoever captain and vice captain, there's probably 7 or 8 guys that share the load of leading a team anyway.
Seattle's the 2-time defending champs. Obviously, the season not going exactly according to plan, but there are still 10 games left in the season. A lot of rugby left to play. What are some of the areas that the Seawolves are hoping to improve upon in this next half of the season?
There's a lot of things. I think, we felt that we should have won our first game at Houston. We feel like we should have won yesterday, which would have put us 3-3, and then in the mixer. But like you said, there are 10 games left, so a lot can change. And I feel like we are starting to come into that form and doing the things that we've been saying we want to do. It's just small little things, and we've had a new coach come in this week as well. So we only had 2 coaches at the start of the season. Now we've got about 4 or 5 different guys helping out, and it's just raised the level of professionalism at the club. And I think Seattle have recognised the areas maybe at the start of the season that we hadn't had sorted, whether it would be on or off the pitch. There were certain things that maybe we'd had slightly rested on our laurels with. The guys did so great to win the first 2 years, it didn't feel as much needed to change, but the league was developing very quickly, and they've since now, mid-season started ramping it up, and it's definitely going the right direction. Aaron Clark's just coming in to take over and help out with coaching. We've got Pate, who's sort of that director of rugby, and then you've got Keith, Matt Turner, all coaching. So we've now got sort of the framework in. We've sort of changed our model as well in terms of how our week goes. So we're now, and what we're training and focusing on is starting to come out on the pitch. I know it didn't quite get us over the line yesterday, but we're actually, if we're looking at the performance, we were really happy. So we've got 10 games now. A lot of them are going to be home. We had a tough stretch at the start, which was 5 away games, and some horrible timings on that. We had a Seattle time 7:30 a.m. game against Toronto, which was just, we arrived 9:30 the night before. It was just that was a tough weekend, and we got absolutely pumped on the day. It has been a tough start, but we know we're not that far away. So it's just whether we can convert those tight games into wins, and then we can start eating our way maybe into a playoff contention by the end of the year, but we'll have to see how the results go.
So MLR's created a month-long campaign called Mental Fitness, and it's focused on the importance of mental health and breaking the stigma around mental health. I love the campaign. I love that we get to talk about this all month long. And obviously, in a season, things are not going your way, but you continue to move forward and work hard. How does mental fitness play a role in the Seawolves and with yourself, trying to make sure, because obviously you can stay fit all you want in the gym, working in the weight room and whatnot, but when it comes to the mind and staying mentally fit, how do you work on that?
For sure, it's massive. I think when you get to this level, everyone seems to be fast, fit, strong, and actually the difference is up top. So for me, I started first game of the season went well, but the next 3 games I wasn't playing well myself, and it just gets really frustrating. And mentally, you start to doubt yourself a little bit and start, overthinking things and trying to figure out where the form was going to come from. And I feel like I was able to finally get on top of that last couple of weeks. But it can, you can start to play tricks on yourself, and then you have other guys with injuries as well. when you get injured, you basically can't do what you want to do and what you're paid to do, and it can get really hard. So I think for me, what I found helpful when you're going through those phases, just having those teammates to be able to talk to and just have a chat. It doesn't need to be anything massively serious, but just, a problem shared is a problem halved, I've always found. And that's been the case for me. And then just keeping those confident messages when you want to play well. It's important to surround yourself with positivity and confidence. That's what I found. Not everyone's like that, but I like that, and it helps me to perform well. But to your point, I think the mental side of the game is probably the most important thing now. And we're lucky at Seattle, we got a team psychologist as well, helps with that sort of thing. So yeah, I think for my mental preparation, it tends to be keeping positive messages, keeping confident, talking to teammates, all those sort of things tend to stand me in good stead.
Do you have a routine on game day that you go through as far as mental fitness and focusing yourself?
Um, it's funny. I used to have things that I used to try and tick off, because if I played well, I'd think, okay, well, what happened there? Like, oh, I ate this for breakfast at this time, so I need to try and do that again. But as I went along, I sort of figured out that actually, the more I try and order it, when something goes out of that order, it actually throws me off more. So I try and just be very chill. I like to have a couple of coffees on game day, stay quite relaxed, not put myself under too much pressure. And then, I'm back though, so I'm not having to be as grunty and tough as the forwards. So maybe they need to get more of in a psych up sort of mode. But I'd like to try and keep fairly chilled, have a little joke around, and then get my my roles down real clear, know what I want to do first 10 minutes, and then let myself work into the game. And that seems to go, last couple of weeks especially, has been helping me out nicely.
So you're not superstitious, maybe a little stitious, but not
maybe a little
superstitious.
stitious, as Michael Scott would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing that. I think it's really interesting how everyone kind of handles mental fitness and what they do to work towards it. So I do really appreciate you sharing those with us. Seattle takes on San Diego at home this Sunday. It's Mother's Day. They're a 2-win team right now. So this feels like a really great opportunity for you all to come away with a W.
The analysts will have already started putting together the preview for San Diego, and we'll be,
for you guys.
You watch some of the games as well, so you kind of know what they're about. I think, I think San Diego are a 2-win team. We're a 1-win team, but I don't think either team should be underestimated at the moment. San Diego got some great players. They're a big game sort of side. They've probably also felt they've come on the wrong side of a few results, and they'll be coming up to Seattle with the bit between their teeth, because it's an old rivalry. In this young league, it's a fairly old rivalry. They'll want to beat us badly. We're looking for that first home win and get our season going again. So it's going to be a hell of a match. But I think, with the guys we've got and the attitude and the way we're going, it can be a chance for us to kick on with our first home win.
What do you think this first home win against a really good San Diego team would do for the morale?
I think it'd be huge. I think that we are a team who is ready to win. We are ready to win. The first game at home and our second game of the season, everything's there at the moment except the result. The boys' attitude has been perfect the last few weeks. The guys have been training really hard, putting a lot of effort onto the pitch, and it's just like small errors or missed kicks, things like that. Matt Turner was a kick away from winning it a week ago. I think that the second we win a game, the boys are going to go off, and then hopefully that will be the momentum to keep winning games, because we've got the guys and we've got the know-how, we've got the coaching. It's all the pieces are there. It's just, can we get it together for a run of games?
I'm also curious as to this lake dip moment. Can you describe the lake dip and what happens during that, why you're doing that?
Not everyone's over the moon about the lake dip, but that's just something we brought in this week, and we've done a couple of times that we go down to Lake Washington, all as a team. Chris Toombs will be there with a cricket bat doing some catches for the boys in the water, but you go for a swim out to the jetties, stuff like that. As I say, some lads don't love it. That very much has to be dragged out of bed to go, but that's the sort of thing we're trying to make an effort to do as a team, to all get together and just spend our off time. Not all the times, you still need your own time to just chill out and relax, but we just went down for 20, 30 minutes, and we're having to do coronavirus tests twice a week. So we just put it together, recovery dip and coronavirus test. So you have to leave the house once. And it's just another little way to try and, build that team culture. But it's a very cold lake, and it's not the most fun when you're actually in.
All right, Ross, it is time for some bonus points. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
I had a little help with these, as I mentioned, so they are extra fine-tuned to who you are. So the first one up is, what is your favorite musical?
It's going to be Hamilton, because I can perform a couple of numbers from it. And the next one will be the Book of Mormon. It's very good. Those would be my top two, but Hamilton probably number one.
Did you say you could perform a couple of numbers from it?
Well, I can perform, yeah. I have the King George's number and I have the opening number, but I'm not doing it now. I'm not doing it now.
What do I have to do to get you to do 10 seconds?
If we win against San Diego, I may do one after the game or something, but I can't do it now. And you can't just do 10 seconds. You need to really get into the number.
You're
so
right.
I don't want to just tease.
We'll save it.
But yeah, I'm sure, my teammates will be tired of hearing it anyways.
What about your go-to karaoke song?
Musicals aside, probably I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. I can always do. It's kind of a challenging number, but I like to think I can do it. And other than that, You Need Me, I Don't Need You by Ed Sheeran. Don't know if you know it, but that's a good song. I can do that. It's kind of like a white guy rap song, so I can I can do that one.
What about if you were an emoji? Which emoji would you be?
A few people would say the nose emoji would be me, probably. And if not that, I don't know, maybe the shifty eyes could be me. Just a little roll of the eyes, perhaps. Say one of those two.
The shifty eyes. That's very good. Okay, big fan. I heard that you made a really important first big United States purchase that had to do with a rug. Can I hear the backstory?
Yeah, this was bad for me. So I drove past this store a couple of times when I was in Bellevue, and it says, they've got these real nice Oriental rugs, and I was like, you know what? There's a big space in my room that I need to fill. I'm gonna go in and buy a rug. But I thought a rug cost like $50. So I was like, I'd be all good. So I walk into the shop, and there's a Turkish man, and I was in the palm of his hand from the second I walked in there. He shows me this first rug, and it was $2,000, and I was like, okay, right, well, there's no chance I'm going to be buying anything from here today, but I'll have to entertain it. He's talking about this rug store on the other side of the road that's putting him out of business, and he was here first, and he has to feed his kid, and I was just believing it all, going along, and I was like, okay, well, what's your sort of cheapest sort of rug? He takes me over, and there's one that says 1,400 down to $300, and I'm like, and he says, do you want to see it? So he spends ages taking all these rugs off to get to this bottom rug, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have to buy this rug. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I didn't even like the rug that much, and I get to it, I'm like, yep, that looks nice. And then I didn't even say I wanted to buy it, and he's already gone off, checked it in with the till, and hands me back the receipt, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I've bought a rug. I've got a $350 rug or whatever it is, and it's sitting in my room now, and I guess that's my rug for life now, and I'm never losing it. Yeah, but that was
I think there was some good karma coming your way, though, for doing that. I feel like
whether I did it out of kindness or just because I was too polite to say no.
Yeah.
No, but hopefully, I don't know. We'll see.
Dinner with an athlete, past or present.
We actually had some quotes this week from George Best, who's a footballer who has some great quotes. I wouldn't mind, or a soccer player over here. Would love maybe him. Muhammad Ali's a classic one. I think he'd be a great personality just to chat with. Or Michael Jordan, of course, would be an awesome one. Those three. I think that's a good three. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that would be, first of all, if you had dinner with all three, an epic dinner. Yeah. One thing that you would institute from your hometown into Seattle, something that Seattle's missing, a little bit of home flavor that you would bring.
Oh, actually, that's quite easy. They need a fish and chip shop. They have fish and chip shops here, but they don't have like a fish and chip shop, like proper one. So I'm actually thinking maybe one day I'll open my own one if I'm here long term. But they don't do like the proper like battered sausages and stuff, and the proper chips and stuff here. So there's definitely maybe a gap in the market here that I can exploit. Try and get some of the owners to invest in me, and I'll do a sort of Shark Tank type presentation for them and see what I can get, and we'll see where it goes.
Some
Yeah,
chef's kid,
lots of
right?
fish and chips. See how it goes.
He already has the name for
See,
it.
I'll come with something better than that, but we'll find something.
All right, last one, my friend. There's a lot we can find about you on the internet, but tell me one thing about you I can't find.
Over the last lockdown, I got very into the birds in my garden. So I aged about 50 years in that lockdown. So all I had to do was gardening work and looking at the various birds that came to the feeder. And now, but over here you have like bald eagles and hummingbirds and stuff. So it's very exciting for a young old man like me.
Grandpa Ross's fish and chips is what we're calling it,
Grandpa
right?
Old Ross's fish and chips would be perfect.
Ross, man, you crushed. I want to wish you the best of luck on Sunday, Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But I'm really grateful for your time. Thank you for sharing all this good stuff with us. Hopefully you guys can get that first home win, secure that, and continue to roll on from there. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to come on.